It's pretty accurate to say yoga has taken the country by storm, and the popularity of the practice is visible in lots of ways. In the number of yoga studios in the US, in the amount of yoga gear that's for sale at all kinds of retailers, and even in the excited conversations about yoga and meditation practices you can overhear in public places, at least in big cities. But even more, it's evident in people's reasons for doing yoga. A new survey by Yoga Alliance and Yoga Journal queried 2,000 people in the general population and 1,700 more yoga practitioners. The study set out to quantify the spread of yoga across the US, but it also looks at who's practicing yoga these days and the motivations people have for practicing. And interestingly, all of these elements have changed over the last few years and will very likely continue to evolve as well. People try yoga for all different reasons, though those reasons are also evolving. In the new study, 61% said flexibility was what drew them in. For 56%, it was stress relief. For 49%, it's general fitness. For another 49%, overall health was the goal. And for 44%, physical fitness. About 90% of people are aware of the presence of yoga now versus 75% 3 years ago. And 75% of Americans believe it's good for them. Most practitioners, over 80%, are aware of the history and philosophy behind yoga, namely that it started out as a set of mental practices rather than a physical one, and a guiding set of ethical principles. And then there's the business side of things. The new survey found that Americans spent $16 billion in classes, gear, and accessories, which is up from $10 billion 3 years ago. Breaking this down, practitioners spent 5.8 billion on yoga classes and 4.6 billion on yoga clothes. These amounts are both more than double what they were just a few years ago. And practitioners spent 3.6 billion on yoga mats and other items. Finally, yoga seems to be increasingly appealing to young people too. In a new study, about 37% of the practitioners' kids under the age of 18 also practiced. And as a general trend, beyond the scope of this study, schools are offering yoga more often as part of their curricula, since it helps kids get calm and learn to center themselves while at school. All kids can benefit from yoga, but for some children who have very difficult or traumatic lives outside school, yoga can bring particular benefits. And as we understand more and more about how yoga affects the bodies and brains of kids and adults, it will likely be an even more widespread phenomenon than it already is. Maybe it will even be a regular part of life and more of a rule than an exception,